We live in a time where masculinity is shamed and men don't know what it means to be a man. As a pastor and counselor, I've spent the better part of my life equipping and training others. My goal with this show is to translate my hard-earned experience into tools and tactics to help you become stronger as a man. This is the BraveCo Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Valatin. Welcome back to the BraveCo Podcast, everyone. This week, we are on week 4 of our marriage series. And I have my favorite guest in the whole entire world here this week, y'all. My wife, Lauren Valatin. Babe, thank you so much for coming.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's great.
It's not every day I get to be on the BraveCo Podcast.
No, we only invite...
This men's space.
Yeah, we only invite manly women or men.
Wow. Okay.
No, we only invite cool people on our podcast.
Thank you.
You've made it this week.
Thank you.
Yeah. I've really been loving our marriage series here. I think this is the first time we've done like a marriage series for BraveCo, and it's awesome. So many people want to grow and build a really strong marriage, but you know, unless you've had someone teach you, or unless you had great parents that taught you how to do that, it's hard to build a deeply connected, strong marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that you and I have worked at for a really long time.
Yeah.
We lead a 5-week marriage intensive every year, 6-week marriage intensive every year.
Couple times a year.
It's one of our favorite things that we do. And so honestly, to give some of that away here to the men is awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This week we are talking about what it looks like to turn towards each other, to fill up that emotional bank account, to build a deep connection that really lasts a lifetime. And I think this is a piece that you and I have worked hard on for a lot of years. And so having you in here to kind of like talk through, add some tips and tools. What does it look like to build a deep connection and fill up one another's emotional bank account? Can you talk about that?
Yeah. It's funny because when you talk about marriage with people, we use the word connection a lot. Like that's very common language for us.
Yeah.
We would say that actually the goal of our marriage is like the number one goal of our marriage is a deep emotional connection. And people have an idea of what that means, but a lot of people ask, like, when you say connection, what is that? And I think that, I mean, you've touched on this already in your series, but to reiterate, I think everybody knows it's probably most easily defined by when you don't have it, right? Like everybody knows what it feels like not to have deep emotional connection with your spouse.
Yes.
That's what it feels like when you're living with a roommate.
Yes.
Right? Like you get into an argument or there's some sort of breakdown in communication, or you're angry with each other, or you're disagreeing about something big, and you create space.
Yeah.
And I've said to you, in our marriage, when we have gotten to a spot like that, sometimes I'll be like, hey, you feel a million miles away.
Yeah.
You're actually right here. You're in the bed next to me, or you're at the dinner table with me, but you feel far away. And so we all know what that's like.
How do I feel right now in this
Right
moment?
now, I feel like you're with me.
I'm right here.
I know. You're with me today. Most of the time, you're with me.
Yeah.
But we all know what that's like, to
Yeah.
have our spouse feel far away, even though we're in the same home.
It's true.
That's how you know that you are lacking in deep emotional connection. And so learning how to keep emotional connection strong and learning how to rebuild emotional connection when it breaks, not if it breaks, but when it breaks, those are really important skill sets.
I always talk about one of the best things that we can do in a marriage is to create a lot of flexibility, this like elasticity. And in a marriage that doesn't have a lot of flexibility, people feel like they're walking on eggshells.
Yeah.
Right? It feels like, I come home and I'm not sure what you're going to be like. We wake up in the morning and we're both kind of holding our breath a little bit that nothing's going to happen. And that rigidity is built through a very weak connection.
Yeah.
And no actual emotional capacity.
Yeah.
And so can you explain like emotional capacity and what that looks like in a marriage?
Well, I like how you said you described a disconnected marriage as feeling rigid or inflexible,
Yeah.
because what it makes me think about is like a branch. What is brittle breaks,
Yes.
but when there's life flowing through the branch, it can actually bend and move and not break. And so I think in a marriage connection, when there's life exchange flowing between you and me, which means that we are actually exchanging emotions with each other. Like when I am sad, I'm communicating about my sad. When I'm full of joy, I'm communicating with you about my joy. Like we are sharing emotions. We are inviting each other into that internal space where we kind of house our emotional world. Like that's not something I keep separate from you. You're very much in it with me, and you have access to me in that space and I have access to you. There's life flowing through the branch.
Hmm.
And so when the storms come, when the arguments come, when the disagreements come, when the pressures of life, work, children, friends, family, whatever it is, the pressure, we can withstand a lot of pressure because there's so much life flowing.
Yeah.
And I think couples get into trouble when they don't actually know how to nurture that life flow between. So pressures come and actually they're so brittle
Yeah.
that they break when the pressure comes.
What I love about an emotional bank account is, whether you know it or not, every relationship has a bank account.
Yeah.
And our bank accounts, our own personal bank accounts, checking accounts, they're never the same. You wake up in the morning, you either have more money or less money. Rarely do you ever stay the same.
Totally.
Yeah, because you're either buying groceries, you had an automatic payment come out, you had a deposit come in, that's always fluctuating.
Yep.
Okay. And if you think about your marriage in that way of we either have excess or we don't have anything to give, and that's all dependent upon what we put into it.
Right.
Now, most people don't think about, oh, I should put something into my bank account.
No.
They think, I want to have a good marriage. I want to be connected, or I just don't want to feel like I'm walking on eggshells.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what a lot of people are. I don't want to be in this conflict right now. When you start to think proactively, you start to go the same way that you do with your finances.
Mm-hmm.
10 years from now, 5 years from now, 3 years from now, an emergency plan. I mean, Pete, we have our finances so dialed, right? You're like, if an emergency happens, I need to have a buffer. I need to have enough.
Yeah.
So before we go and spend X amount of money on vacation, we're going to get our emergency fund
Yeah.
in there. The same way that people do that, they need to start thinking through, where am I at in my emotional bank account?
Yeah.
Because it's free for me to invest into our emotional bank account. It just takes intentionality.
Right.
And if people understood how easy it is to do that, then we wouldn't be walking around so disconnected, because really a disconnected marriage is a marriage that's all withdrawn.
Yeah. Well, I think that even to take a step back a little further and
Mhm.
go, okay, in a marriage, in a life with another human being, maintaining a life costs money.
Yeah.
Our lifestyle costs something.
Yep.
We don't get to maintain our lifestyle if our finances dissipate.
Yes.
We have to make a change. We sell our house, we sell our cars, we, eat rice and beans, whatever it takes if your money goes away. If you want a robust life with your spouse, it costs something. And depending on what other factors are a part of your life, your life could be more expensive or less expensive. For example, you're newly married, you are just figuring things out, you're in the honeymoon phase of life. Yeah, you both work, but you've got tons of margin. You've got your nights and your weekends, and you've got a little money saved away from, wedding gifts, and you're going to go on a vacation, and it's all fun. And so you might get into a little, squabble here or there because I don't like how you load the dishwasher, but like mostly there's not a ton of pressure. And so your emotional life,
Yeah.
the life that you're maintaining is relatively inexpensive.
Low pressure, low expense.
It's relatively inexpensive. The second you add a dog or your spouse, listen, I know a lot about how expensive dogs are at an emotional level because for a year we've been raising a puppy, and I'm telling you, it has not been easier than my 2-year-old human. So yes, you add a dog, your spouse gets laid off, has to find a new job. Your aging parent gets sick.
Mhm.
You have a child.
Yep.
And then another child, and then another child. All of a sudden, what it takes to actually maintain a robust, healthy lifestyle inside of a family unit, it's more expensive, which means you need more emotional bandwidth in order to do well, to not fry out, to not feel depressed or anxious, to not be derailed by, or, that the branch wouldn't become brittle. It actually requires more
Input. Yes.
The bigger the plant, the more water, sunlight, attention, soil, pruning it requires. And so I think what happens is people don't actually know how to intentionally care for and steward their emotional connection as the pressures of life grow. So you get 10 years into a marriage and you find yourself very disconnected and running on E in your emotional connection with each other because you just haven't poured in. You haven't intentionally poured in. So what you're saying is, and what we love to talk about with married couples is, if you can get great at pouring into your emotional bank account regularly before you actually need to make a big emotional withdrawal, because every hard thing, every costly thing requires something of you. So if you don't have the money in the bank, so to speak, then the pressures of life come and feel like they're going to tank you, like you're in the hole.
Yeah.
So we've got to get really good at intentionally investing into our emotional bank account before we need to make a withdrawal, so that when we do, it actually doesn't affect us a whole lot. We can move right past it.
The Gottmans, John Gottman, he's like the foremost scientist on marriage and speaker probably. So they've done all this research, and they say that it takes 5 positives to make up for 1 negative.
Yeah.
And healthy couples have a 5-to-1 ratio of deposits versus withdrawals. And when you think about it, it's really true. It's easy to withdraw. Takes intentionality to deposit.
Yeah, a withdrawal can be made without even knowing it, right? Like in your subconscious, you make withdrawals all the time. For example, because when we say withdraw, we're not even talking about big blowups. We're not talking about infidelity. We're not talking about, discovering that your spouse has a porn problem. Those things happen. And
Definitely
that's like going bankrupt overnight, right? That's like going, whoa, we do not have the finances for this. But if you're just talking about like little daily interactions, you wake up, you kind of feel irritated. You wake up on the wrong side of the bed. And before you even step out to brush your teeth, you've made a snappy comment at your spouse. Well, that's an easy thing to do. That's like, that happens once a month at least in our home.
By me?
No, by me.
Yeah. I wonder what week a month it happens.
And so, you wake up and you snap at your spouse. You didn't mean to. You don't want to have a bad day. You love him, but you snap at your spouse.
But, he was right there.
That's 1 negative. And on an emotional level, to quote, recover from that withdrawal, you've got to do like 5 really great positive deposits to make up for that stupid little withdrawal that you made without really meaning to.
Yeah.
And so when we get super self-aware inside of our marriage connection and we start making our emotional connection our top priority, we become a lot more aware. So we end up doing that less.
Yeah.
Which is the goal, right? Like we want to be depositing more than what we're withdrawing.
Okay. Can you talk about what it looks like to deposit and like talk about what it looks like to turn towards one another? Because I think that that's like a really helpful concept when we're talking about building connection and sowing into our emotional bank account.
Yeah. When we say turning toward one another, we're talking about on an emotional level, letting our attention and our fondness for one another, our admiration for each other, our appreciation for each other, like we're choosing to draw attention to those things and then aim our energy at our partner.
Ooh, I just got excited when you did that. I was like, wow.
I'm going to aim my energy at you.
Aim it, baby.
And I'm going to focus on the things that make me fond toward you or make me grateful for you or things I admire about you. I'm going to draw attention to the parts of our partnership that I appreciate, that I enjoy, that I can find strength in. And I'm going to turn toward you in a way that lets you know that I see, know, value, and respect you, and that I like us. Like, I want you to know and feel from me that I like us.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of ways that we can do that. Before we talk about how to do that,
Okay.
I want to say this.
Look at her structure this podcast.
Listen, before, if we don't do this on a really intentional level on a daily basis, we tend to find ourselves in a, where we don't have enough money in the bank situation. And then people have to try to rebuild connection when they don't feel like it. Because you only get into a pickle where you don't have enough money in the emotional bank account if there's been a bunch of withdrawals. If there's been a bunch of withdrawals, chances are there's disconnection, there's pain, there's hurt involved. It could be minor or it could be major, but either way, you're not feeling it.
Yeah.
And there's nothing harder than rebuilding connection with somebody when you don't feel like it. Like, that's a tough thing to do. It's tough to choose to turn towards your spouse when you're not feeling it for them, when you're angry at them, when you feel like you disagree with them, when you feel like you've been mishandled by them. So I want to say, this is where we get to put on our big boy and big girl pants and choose to turn towards each other, whether we feel like it or not.
Yeah.
Because it's actually these small deposits that over time create the biggest buffer in your bank account.
Yeah.
Like, you cushion your account by making tiny deposits all throughout the day, every day. You always say you can't actually win on vacation what you've lost in your daily interactions with your spouse.
Yeah.
So you're in a big disconnection. You've had a whole season where like work and kids have absolutely taken over. You have not prioritized your marriage connection. And you're like, you know what we need? We need a vacation. And what happens is you get to your destination, you have one good night's sleep, and you wake up ready to fight. Because now we're alone in a room and I'm just mostly aware of how mad I am at you for not being with me for the last however long.
Yeah.
You can't actually fix on vacation what you break day to day.
No, in the last, 6 months, 8 months, year, I've seen so much breakthrough in marriages that just had a vault full of pain and anger and resentment towards one another by going, hey, hold on. Can we pause on all this stuff?
Yeah.
Because it would take me, a counselor, a lifetime to distribute who did what, where, when, how. Therefore, it's all just. It's not going to happen. But can we first just start by turning towards one another and building that connection? I know y'all don't feel like it.
Yeah, nobody feels like it.
I know that it's painful
when they're in that spot.
But can you start by saying this? I know that in this marriage, that my actions have cost you a lot. And I hate that. I want to be a place where you feel cared for, where you feel loved, where you feel known and blessed. And I know I haven't done that well. I'm excited to get to a place where I can clean up all of those messes. I want to take some time and just pour into you. And for a while, just let you know what I see in you, what I think in you, how appreciative I am for you. Okay. I have both couples do that, right? It's the white flag.
Yeah.
It's like,
I
you
give
don't
up.
shoot me.
Yeah.
I won't shoot you.
Surrender.
This really sucks. We know it does. There's a whole vault back here.
Yeah.
Now, if they will start to every single day turn towards one another and make those deposits and start to be very intentional, when they don't feel like it, all of a sudden there comes a day when they do feel like it, and it's not long into it.
Yeah.
And they start to remember like, oh, I remember what it was like dating you. Oh, French kissing you sounds exciting. I feel a little bit of butterflies. Oh, now what I've seen over the past year is that a lot of the things that they were harboring, they don't really even have to discuss and resolve, because the main problem was the
Connection.
disconnection.
100%. And I think it's really worth talking about practically what does it look like to turn towards,
Yeah, let's do
because
it.
people don't always know what to do, and
Yes.
because it can, when you don't feel like it can feel disingenuine.
Yep.
Some people get very hung up on like, it doesn't feel authentic.
Yep.
I'm like, totally.
Yeah.
That's what disconnection does. It
Yeah.
actually creates more disconnection.
It's
Like
true.
disconnection is not what brings people back together. It's not. It actually creates a wider gap. So we have to choose to actually turn around and go the other direction.
Yeah.
And repent for that thing and actually move back towards your spouse. And so like talking through some of the practical things that can actually look like, I think is huge, just to give ideas to couples.
Yeah. So what I like is for couples to set an alarm on their phone.
Jay's a big fan of alarms.
I'm a massive fan
Loves
of alarms. You want to know why? It's because the average guy won't remember.
Yeah, they work.
He's got 19 things to do in a day, and you have to create a habit, right? You're trying to create a habit to build an ecosystem, because your ecosystem is really built out of your habits that you do in a day. And so, I want a guy, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, to have on his alarm that says, turn towards your wife.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys go, man, we're just so busy. I just have a lot of things to do. And it's like, well, if you're the busiest man in the world and you take 2 minutes while you're going poop on the toilet to send your wife a message during your lunch break that says, hey, I'm so thankful that you care about the little details of our kids. You shop and buy stuff that's good for them. You cook meals that are healthy. You care about getting them to school on time and having everything ready for them. You really do care about us. Like, even just a fake example, like,
oh, I love that.
yeah,
Yeah.
it means so much, right? And then she shoots a message back later on the day that says, the way that you prioritize our family, go to work hard every day, come home and are present with our kids, it just makes me feel like the luckiest woman in the world. What do you want to do?
Totally.
I'm ready to cross through some broken glass to please you, to show up for my family. All of a sudden we're I call it throwing the ball. We're throwing this ball back and forth to one another. Like, no, you're better. No, you're better. No, we have an amazing family. And you start to build this ecosystem, right? Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I am sending this message to you as many times as I can in a day. And I get really creative about it, of what I see, what I value, what I care for in you. The next thing that we should talk about is bids for connection.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain that?
Yeah. I think there are the alarms and the kind of unsolicited, voluntary,
Yeah.
I see you, I know you, and I appreciate you. Like, those are going to go a long way every time. Every time Jay does that for me, like every time you send me a message like that, I smile. Nobody's around, and it makes me smile.
A voice text
like,
where you're praying for her.
Yeah, like it's just so good. But we can get really great at taking advantage of opportunities. And there's opportunities for connection, and then there's bids for connection, and those would be distinct. An opportunity for connection is like, I need to get good at recognizing when I come into your space, where can I find a way to show you that I see you and I care for you?
Yeah.
I always give this example, but for me, I know that 5 o'clock is usually when I'm in the kitchen working on getting dinner ready. And oftentimes you show up from work around that time too. So when you come in from work and I'm at the kitchen, the kids are doing one of like 3 things. They're playing well together in the living room, or they're playing well together outside, even better, or they're both crying around my ankles.
Yeah, they're battling each other.
Yeah, they're battling each other,
Mhm.
and then they're retreating to like my feet while
Yeah.
I'm trying to cook dinner. So you walk in on one of those 3 scenes pretty much every day.
Yep.
And that is an opportunity for connection. Whatever you see happening when you enter my space, our space, is an opportunity for connection. If the kids are losing it at my feet, then an opportunity for connection is that you would come in, scoop them up, and divert, like take them away. If they are playing well outside, that's a great opportunity for you to come in and give me some attention for a
Yeah.
second, or to join in their play. And that goes a long way for
Yep.
me. If they're playing well in the house together, sometimes you'll come and pitch in with dinner and
Yep.
kind of, we'll talk about our day. What you don't ever do, thank God, right? Because
I
you've
don't.
learned how to take advantage of this opportunity.
Yep.
You don't ever just walk right past me and go sit down on the couch and open your phone and do your own thing.
Because I don't want to get stabbed in the back.
Because you're not an idiot.
I
That's
know
not what we do.
I'll get shanked.
That's not what we do.
Yeah.
And you don't ever come in on your phone
Mhm.
and blow past us, regardless of what's happening.
Oh, excuse me, I got to work. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah. No. Mm-mm.
No,
You
I'm
don't
done.
do that either.
When I come home at 5, I'm done.
I will say this, there's an opportunity for connection
Yeah.
every time you re-enter each other's little space.
Yeah.
And you look for those opportunities. You become aware, and you teach yourself how to be aware of the opportunity. Another opportunity for connection, can I just say, is like a calendar event.
Mm.
So, Mother's Day is coming up,
It is.
or Father's Day is coming up,
Don't
or
blow
an
it.
anniversary, or a birthday. Those are freebies. Those are like on the calendar,
Yep.
or they could be, they should be
Yeah,
on the
they should.
calendar,
Yeah.
because it's an easy win. It's an opportunity. Those things, you might hate Valentine's Day, and that's okay. People can harp on Valentine's Day or whatever other made-up holiday we're going to celebrate here in the U.S. because we have a lot of them.
Yeah, why not?
It's just an opportunity for connection. So don't miss those. Those are freebies. A bid for connection is different. A bid for connection is when I actually beckon your attention. I ask for your help or your attention, usually not with words.
Yeah. So if you're married, then you're getting bidded all the time.
Yeah, we make bids for connection with each other all the time.
Yeah, and especially Lauren, especially probably the ladies. I know that statistically women bid way
They
more
do.
than men.
Yeah.
Lauren always has these creaks, these aches, these little tiny things that are hurting or bothering her, this thing on her mind that she just wanted me to know. I came back last week from being in Colorado. She had a week's worth of stuff stored up. Not me. I had like 12 minutes worth of things stored up. She had an entire week of things stored up that she wanted to talk about, be known, be seen, be understood. Those are times when you come to me and you go, I've got a real creak in my shoulder.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, oh, babe, just.
Yeah. Well,
if
let's
I
talk
just
about what bids are.
If I just, a bid is, it literally is what it sounds like. It's you verbally or non-verbally reaching out and saying,
Asking for connection.
I have a need. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When I pay attention to that, if I'm wise, because usually it's not as clear as that. It's usually like, my shoulder, gosh,
I've got a knot in my shoulder.
got this knot over here.
Yeah.
I can go like, and give her a little pat and walk away. She's going to feel so sad.
Totally.
It's easy to miss that. If I see that bid,
yeah,
and I come in, I swoop in and I go, come over here. Let me see that thing. And I start working that knot out.
mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden you feel loved and known and cared for and seen.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know that for me, I make bids for connection all the time, sometimes unconsciously.
Oh,
it
for
can
sure.
be me at the kitchen counter, again, prepping dinner or something, and the kids are at my ankles, and I let out one of those like, ugh,
Yeah.
That's me going like, I could use some help, but I don't even know that that's what I'm saying. If he misses that, like if you miss that, that's a withdrawal from the bank account.
Yeah, there's a withdrawal.
If you decide to like blow past that bid for connection and keep doing your own thing, or move to the garage and start cleaning up your craft table.
Yeah.
Or if you choose to take a phone call instead, that's a withdrawal. But if you meet me and you hear my quote cry for help and you actually meet me there, that's an easy deposit. That's like
Yeah.
we're a team. Like we
Yeah.
want to be a rock star team. Whenever we teach on bids for connection, people get triggered because they think that when their spouse makes a bid for connection, it's some sort of like passive aggressive,
Yeah.
like
Manipulative.
manipulative
You should
talk.
ask for help if you need it.
Yeah, I can't read your mind. I shouldn't have to like, I'm like, oh my gosh.
It's like if you're you shouldn't have to read her mind. If you are really paying attention, then you see these opportunities for
Well, if
connection.
connection is the goal in your marriage, then you do meet your spouse in those opportunities and bids for connection because you know it's going to be good for your bank account.
So there's this verse in the Bible that says, husbands nurture and cherish your wife. And it's right around the same verse that's talking about wives respect your husband and submit to your husband. That word nurture and cherish is this exact same picture as a mother nurturing her baby.
Mm.
And your baby can't go, hey, hello, I need some breast milk right now. I'm real hungry. Or I just pooped my pants. I'm so sorry that's inconvenient for you. Or gosh, it's hot in here. Can you unbundle me?
Mhm.
Babies don't know how to do that, right? So you have to really pay attention to their cues. You get so good. In the beginning, you're like, I don't know what this baby needs. But eventually you get really good and you're like, my baby likes to be held like this, football. Or, man, my baby needs to be burped. When it cries like this, oh, that's gas. Baby's got gas.
Yeah.
Or you get really good at understanding and learning cues. Okay, that's the picture of how a man is supposed to understand his wife
Yeah.
and his family. It's just like this very detailed, in tune relationship in which I can come into your world and understand, like, yep, that's a creaky arm. I probably need to go over there and give it a little bit of help. Or,
Totally.
wow, when she looks like that, she's max. She's had a long day.
Yeah.
And I probably don't need to grab her butt. I probably should just grab the kids and go
Thank
do something
you.
with him.
You know
Yeah.
what? Thank you.
But here's a spot where I could grab her boob and I'm gonna be okay. Maybe not, but sometimes, once in a while. Anyways, we start to learn what it looks like to nourish and to cherish
Yeah.
our family, and that's because we're paying close attention.
Yeah.
This isn't build a relationship that is without that's passive and doesn't have, clear communication.
No.
But if you only wait till somebody asks, you are missing the majority of opportunities to build and sow into deep connection.
Totally. Ultimately, what you're doing is you're tracking with each other's emotional world. You're tracking. Like you're tracking me with me when I'm feeling overwhelmed. You're tracking me with me when I feel lonely. You're tracking with me when I feel a lot of joy. Like your bids for connection don't only happen in places
Yes.
of like sadness or desperation. When I'm winning in life, when I have something to
Yes.
celebrate, when I accomplish something, I may, like we all hold up our trophy and go, look what I just won today. And if you don't meet me there and celebrate with me or get excited with me or communicate how proud you are of me, that's a massive miss
It
in
is.
a moment, an opportunity for connection. So I think this is part of practicing that life flow between us
Yeah.
is, oh, you're not like on your island, every man for himself. We're a team and we're going to win together and we're going to lose together. And I'm going to know where you're at, good or bad.
Yeah.
And you're going to know that you have me with you. And that, gosh, I mean, that's how you can actually, okay, this is going to be a weird analogy, but people who know how to make wealth, even in times of recession, they just get smart,
Yeah.
right? So like when we know how to nurture our marriage,
Yeah.
we don't wait for like a great season to
Yep.
have an awesome marriage. We've
Yep.
gone through some gnarly seasons and have maintained an incredible emotional connection in our marriage because we've gotten good at it. And when you're good at building wealth in your emotional bank account, you can do it when times are good and you can do it when times are bad.
It's true.
And you come out connected and as a team on the other side, no matter what.
It's true. To me, I get so excited about this series because I just feel like there's so much opportunity to grow your marriage. There's so much opportunity for each one of us men to like, man, what would it be like if you just prioritized your wife an hour a day in 10-minute sections? An hour a day.
Mm.
You're just talking about 6 times I'm going to intentionally turn towards my wife. You got 24 hours in a day. If you just gave 1 hour to her,
Honestly, if you
and
gave 30 minutes,
well,
it would be
I'm
more
just
than
shooting
most
big.
people.
It would. And this idea that, yep, there's probably a lot of things. Yep, there's probably some unresolved stuff. Yep, maybe you feel shame in an area. Maybe your wife's really hard to be around. She's the dragon, whatever. The deal is it's our job as men to lead, not to make her lead. But I'm the one that always is going to open up that door emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically. I'm going to be the one that initiates and lead her into a place where we're getting rid of chaos and we are ushering peace in. This is as simple as setting an alarm on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
It's as simple as going, tonight, I'm going to really pay attention to what she needs. Tonight, I'm going to be the initiator, and it doesn't have to lead to sex. Tonight, I'm going to put aside my pain, and I'm going to send a message to her. I really value you. I really cherish you. I really care for you. If you do that consistently, you will absolutely transform your marriage.
Yeah.
And what will happen is instead of wanting to escape, instead of wanting to hide, you all of a sudden have this pride in what you've sown into and what you've grown. And that's been the biggest thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
I love our marriage.
Yeah.
I love our time together. I love what we're building. I love our routine. And I'll leave with this. At night, and I feel like men should create some kind of routine like this. At night, we have sex every single night. And then, no, I'm kidding.
Oh my gosh.
we don't. No, it's so unrealistic. The reason why I said that is because we have all these influencers that like, I wake up at 3 a.m. and I start my morning routine. No, the best routines in the world are very simple. At night, we go to bed pretty much the same time.
It's early.
Yeah, it's
we
early.
might as well be 8.
Yeah, it's 8:00. Yeah. So we got little kids. And you typically lay close to me. I rub your shoulders, your left shoulder at least, and your back while we watch a show together. And that's how we end our night 85% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
What that does is think about it. The last thing that I'm doing in the night is sewing into this bank account. She's falling asleep. I'm rubbing her shoulders. I'm rubbing her back. It doesn't take a lot of effort. I'm not even thinking about doing it.
We don't watch a show.
I watch a show.
You watch whatever YouTube
Hunting,
channel
fishing,
you're watching.
Motorcycles.
I fall asleep.
It's true. But what that does is it makes sure that I'm topping off our marriage.
Yeah.
Every single night, I'm doing something that's easy to do, that I enjoy it now, that sends this message, you are my first and my last priority.
Mm-hmm.
Besides God, I am pouring into you. You're going to go to sleep. I'm going to stay up for a little bit, and then we're going to go to bed. I have turned on this fondness inside of me that says, man, I really want my wife to feel so loved by me. I want to fill up that love tank, and I can do it so easy every night while I get to watch whatever show I want. So
that's a great example because it's just so basic. And I have other friends who's like their husband you don't drink coffee, so this is not what you do.
I'm a tea guy.
Yeah. But in the it's like my friend's husband just makes her a coffee every single morning at this time.
Yeah.
There is so much richness in routine.
Oh, routine is
when
how
you can
build
predict
a beautiful
something,
life. Yes.
So psychologically, people prefer to be able to predict things. The more that you can predict about your life, the more secure you feel psychologically. Yeah. Even if you like change, even if you like spontaneity, the more you can predict about your day, the safer and more secure that you feel. So what you're doing by creating routines with your spouse is you're saying, you can count on me here.
Yep.
You can count on me here. Obviously, there's days when, you're out with guy friends or
those are the saddest
whatever,
days
you're out
for
of
you.
town, and I don't get a little shoulder rub while I fall asleep. That's okay. But our normal is this.
Yep.
And so whatever you can do in your routine to create a sense of predictability, that's going to be a win.
You're going to win. Guys, I hope that this episode was helpful for you. Send it to a guy friend of yours. Ladies, if you're listening to this too, because I know that a lot of ladies are listening to this, go ahead and send it to a girlfriend of yours. We really want to help people build the best, the strongest, the most beautiful, well-connected marriages possible. This week, your challenge is to set that alarm. Create that alarm, set that alarm so you don't have to remember to turn towards one another, but you get really good at creating that routine that establishes a healthy relationship. We will see you guys next week on the BraveCo Podcast. Hey, BraveCo men. Hopefully you loved this week's episode. Listen, if you have not subscribed to our podcast, you are already behind. Go ahead and click right here to subscribe to our podcast. And if you have not watched last week's episode, you can click right here and watch last week's episode. And listen, if you want to upgrade your wardrobe, you can check out some of our new hats that we have in stock and all our other swag. Go to braveco.org and you can look at our store there. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.